Hello, sweetie. What's your name?
Kittredge. I want to be a reporter, sir.
Fascinating.
Welcome to Question Entertainment. I'm Christopher Willett.
And I'm Abby Rooney, and today we're talking about
Kittredge, an American Girl.
The American Girl series is based on a set of dolls and books. Each doll is from a different decade, and the book has a story of the girl going through life in that decade, specifically designed to tell kids about everything that was going on. Throughout the book, the girl will meet people from almost every economic situation, and the standard things going on at that time will be represented, so it's a bit of a history lesson. The book series have already become direct-to-video movies. This is the first one to come out in theaters. Kittredge is the story of a little girl who is living through the Depression. Her father has gone to another state to look for work. Her mother has opened her house to take in boarders, and her friends, some of whom are connected directly to the bank, are doing fine. Others are losing their houses, and some are finding creative ways to get through the time. So, how was it?
Abigail Breslin is really sweet. She's really cute. She does a great job playing Kit. The fact that her mother in the movie has to bring in boarders and house makes for a really interesting bunch of characters. So have some fun storylines there.
This is kind of silly, but I'm watching the movie and halfway through remembered that it's based on a series of dolls. And I wondered, what does this doll look like? And when I saw her again, I'm like, oh right, that's exactly what that doll looks like.
I didn't even know before I saw the movie that it was based on the American Girl dolls.
Oh really?
No,
okay.
I didn't. I know about the American Girl dolls.
Yeah.
I didn't realize until I was watching it that that's where that came from.
I did enjoy it. When they started throwing in a mystery, I really more wanted it to be about the family, but it was still nice.
Yeah, I liked the stuff about the family, and I loved the characters in the house.
Yes.
It didn't even need all that other stuff.
Yeah, and I was very impressed with Joan Cusack as the traveling librarian. I think it would fit in nicely in a film festival with Because of Winn-Dixie and Dreamer, the horse movie. Mm-hmm. It
had that feel to it.
Yes, which I liked Winn-Dixie better, but still I think this was a good movie. And like you said, it was slow. I like slow kids movies that aren't forcing your kid along with the next explosion.
Yeah.
And
but it wasn't boring.
No, and it was creative. At the end when they have the obligatory chase scene, instead of like zany cartoon music, they start playing this 1940s sort of waltz thing, and it slows down, but it adds tension, which was done even better. Babe, Pig in the City, when Babe is being chased by the bulldog, and they play an Italian opera. Same sort of idea, and maybe that's it. I hadn't even put that together. I just so Babe indoctrinated. The only thing I didn't like, totally, was at the end, I realized the movie was over. There was nothing else we could do. And I suddenly realized, okay, this is where absolutely every storyline is going to get tied together. Yeah. And then one after the other, characters walk through the door and announce that, look, this storyline is tied up.
Yeah.
Which, it was a kid's movie. There was nothing else you could do. I would have been mad if it didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I want my cake and eat it too. Is it good for kids?
Absolutely. This is a great kids movie. Again, it's a slow-moving movie, and I'm also very partial to non-animated movies for children.
Yes.
Although there is a lot of real sad scenes, it is during the Depression and sad things really happened, none of the sad things that happen are traumatic for any kids to see. It's okay.
Actually, one of the things I liked about exposing kids just to the Depression is you can see that there's life beyond materialism. And I really liked that. The other thing I liked was there was a mystery. The kids do get cut off from adults at times, but it is never the standard, adults are stupid, hey kids, we need to handle it.
Right.
When they're cut off from adults, their plans always involve looking to find the adult.
Right.
And I really like the respect for parents and the understanding, and parents being self-sacrificing for their children. And there was just a lot going on that reinforced good family values. I think this movie is good for kids. It's especially good if you have a daughter. Yeah. Which I think Winn-Dixie more goes either way. Dreamer and Kittredge are squarely girl movies.
Definitely a girl thing.
If you'd like a complete breakdown of what's on the screen, check screenit.com.
How about spiritual issues?
This movie has nothing negative. The only thing I noticed was it is the Depression. It would still be a time where religion was part of America. It was sort of cut out.
Yeah, these would have been church-going people.
Yes.
And when times are tough, let's face it, even those that are not religious would pray, would talk about God. There was no mention at all. It was found to be strangely missing. It wasn't really fitting with the time.
And the soup kitchen, they go to a soup kitchen, which there's no religious presence there, and most soup kitchens, at least today, and I believe back then, had church affiliations. When they have a Thanksgiving meal, something goes on in the other room that we have to cut to. So we miss the beginning of the meal. So we don't know if they said grace. Yeah. But they left almost a space where technically they could have said grace, and historically they probably did. We just weren't in the room when it happened. So with that, I think this movie worked around religious issues, which is unusual because I remember specifically reading one of the books where one of the characters was a pastor. And they often went to church and they talked about what the church's role was in society, being a bit of a history lesson. So all in all, there's nothing damaging here, there's nothing anti-Christian, but they do avoid bringing it up, which I prefer don't bring it up to get it wrong.
That's true.
Yeah. Once again, I prefer Winn-Dixie because it does bring it up and the dad's a pastor and it gets it right. So there you go.
One thing I thought was strange was when the thieves are caught, one of them realizes that they were wrong. They never really say whether it was wrong because stealing is wrong or if it was just because they were stealing from poor people as opposed to Robin Hood, who was stealing from the rich.
The problem is, they leave that open-ended.
It was not clear.
No, it was more open-ended than I would want for little kids. For myself watching it, I was fine with it, and I do not think it condones stealing by the end. For a child watching it, I think they'd have to come out. It would have been nice if Joan Cusack said it was wrong to steal.
Kids need things really spelled out clearly for them.
Yes. There is a reference to hypnotism. Spiritually is weird and people have different takes on it.
Yeah.
I was a bit weirded out when I saw it, more because I thought it brought me out of the movie. A magician hypnotizes a woman and she's able to levitate. I obviously thought the levitation was a trick and it was presented that way, though the hypnotism seemed to be real. Later in the movie, we find out that even the hypnotism was part of the trick, which I enjoyed being tricked in that way, but it does bring up hypnotism. What's our recommendation?
This would be a good movie to watch with your kids, especially girls.
With very minor exceptions, there's nothing in here that most movies today pointed towards girls have. It's a safe movie, it's a fun movie. It reinforces the family as important and working together is more important than material things.
Thanks for watching.
On YouTube, please click subscribe. On our blog, please click the RSS feed.
And I was very impressed with Joan Cusack as the traveling librarian. The thing I came away with more than anything was, wow, Joan is such an underappreciated actress. She just, she brings something.
Overly typecast.
Yeah.
Exactly. The plucky sidekick.
Yes, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to go on Internet Movie Database and look for a Joan Cusack starring role, and I'm going to rent whatever it is. Okay, and it will turn out to be something horrible.
You'll find it.
Yeah. I absolutely hated School of Rock, but she was in it, and she was great. But
whatever she does, she's good at. She's always a great character, and she always does it well.
At first I was thinking, wow, she looks like Joan Cusack. Like,
Oh, you didn't even know
yeah,
it was
I didn't
her?
know it was her.